Wind Shadow Podcast.
Okay. I guess I'll kick it off.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, I'll follow.
All right. Welcome everyone to Twin Shadows Podcast. This is episode 71. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Woo!
Kinda.
Cheers.
This is a special episode. Not only because it's live and you can see us, but we have some awesome people with us today. Let me start by introducing the person without the camera.
Well, let's have them introduce themselves so the people will know who are just listening.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Alia, you want to kick it off?
Oh, so much for ladies first. Okay.
That is ladies first.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Alia. I'm a writer-director based in New York, and I'm happy to be here for the second time, actually.
Yeah. Welcome back.
I'm Jeff Ewing. I'm a writer for Forbes and Looper and a bunch of other places. And I also have my own podcast.
Jeff died.
Oh,
Jeff.
his own podcast. And he was out. He was like, I got my own. I'm out.
I ain't doing this twice.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
hey, Jeff. Welcome back. We lost you there for a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, my network card hates me, and I'm going to destroy it one of these days.
Fair enough. That sounds good. And what about you there, Mike?
Yeah, my name is Mike Vaughn. I'm an author. My book is The Ultimate Guide to Strange Cinema, and I also have a blog called The Video Attic.
All right.
yeah, everyone, this is Mike's book. Go out and buy it.
Oh, that's cool. I love the cover.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So welcome, everyone. And who are you, Steven?
Oh, and I'm Steven. I'm the co-host here for Twin Shadows Podcast alongside the lovely karate master Tom Casper over there. How are you
Yes.
doing, buddy?
I'm okay.
How is life treating everyone now that we've made it past 2020? You know, we've made it past 2020. We thought it was going to be a little safer, and 2021's off to a really good start so far.
I don't know, but it sucks. What are you guys talking about? Did you guys see Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
I
Listen.
I saw the first 15 minutes and I couldn't stand it.
Really?
No, just can't.
Yeah,
It
a lot
was-
of people didn't like that movie.
I liked
What did
it.
you think?
I thought it was kind of a fun, silly movie. I don't know.
Like, I had fun with it, but I think it was genuinely bad. Like, I still enjoyed it, but there were so many plot holes and random, like, I need to fly so I can fly now.
Yeah.
There were so many problems. It needed like 4 more months of rewrites, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, they had all this time with the COVID, right? My thing was
They did.
that it wasn't any worse than any of the other superhero movies to me. So
Okay.
it was just on par with everything else for the most part. I mean, of course, there's some outstanding ones, but for the most part.
I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it.
Did you watch the first one at all?
I fell asleep.
So you're a big fan.
Big fan.
No, I found the one way to watch it that I really enjoyed it. It's that if you interpret it as like a Wishmaster prequel,
Yeah.
it's way more fun. And it works a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it had a lot of really fun elements, in my opinion, like the Wishmaster element and the Heaven Can Wait element to it, although that hasn't been too popular in the news lately.
True.
Yeah.
But let me ask you all, and you can all go around. What are I mean, not a lot of movies have come out for obvious reasons. So what's the best movie you've seen in 2020?
Okay, I'll start. The best movie I watched is going to have to be The Great and Terrible Day of the Lord, a film made by some good friends of ours. But the second choice would have to be Underwater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the best short film I watched was Esther's Choice.
Oh,
Ah, there you
Underwater.
go.
my heart.
Yes,
Thank
it was
you,
fantastic.
thank
Everyone
you.
should go.
Yeah,
And
I
get-
think Esther's Choice might be the best movie of 2020,
It's short.
without a doubt.
Thank you. You're very sweet. I have to look at my letterbox to I cannot say right off from the top of my head. Probably not a 2020 release. I mean, I really like
It has to be a
Parasite.
2020 release.
Mhm.
You can't talk about Parasite in the good 2019,
Oh, let me
the
see.
golden
Okay.
years.
Back when everything was beautiful. This is from Parasite, my background. I am in the Parasite
Oh.
house right
Oh,
now.
I
that's
thought that
right.
looked familiar.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
don't go in the basement.
Definitely
This
go
is the
in the
thing.
That's actually
basement.
where I
Looks
came from.
the-
Respect!
what did come out in 2020?
All right. Well, Leah, while you think of it,
We'll
we're gonna
come back
jump
to you,
over
Leah.
we're gonna jump to Mike. Mike, what do you got? 2020 release.
I thought Possessor was an incredible movie.
Yeah.
Mm,
And Dinner in America is another really awesome one that my friend Adam Raymeyer just did, and it's killer. You guys definitely should keep that on your radar. And then Relic, I thought was another just fantastic indie horror movie that I think IFC put out or is putting out soon. So that's 3 that are really fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'm really
Awesome.
looking forward to seeing Relic. I haven't seen it yet.
For the
was very
Possessor
good.
movie, Mike, which one did you see? Did you see the theatrical release or the
The,
uncut one?
The uncut. I actually got to see that a while, like even before the Blu-ray came out. Like I got
Okay.
to see a digital screener of it, and yeah, that's an incredible movie. And then I was kind of lucky enough that I got to review the Blu-ray of it, and I mean it's a fantastic movie. It looks fantastic. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's I guess it's Brandon Cronenberg's second film. So
All right, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Jeff, what about you, man? What about you, buddy?
let's see. There's a lot of good ones. I really liked in the horror realm, I would say His House was really stupid good, and you can find that one on Netflix. It basically follows this refugee family who's they move into this in the UK, this government sponsored housing, and they bring something with them, and it's super not a good time. It's really good. Has a lot of meaning to it. And then am I still here?
Yep, you're here.
Can you hear me?
Here.
Okay.
We thought we lost you.
And then for non-horror, I really liked Nomadland was really good.
That's what it is.
It was very good. Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that's on my list. I gotta.
Chloe Zhao. Yeah. I would put it there for sure.
Yeah, Frances McDormand gives a crazy great performance. There are a lot of non-actors that they use, and there's such a realism to it. It's really nice.
Okay,
Yeah, I thought it was a
I've heard of
documentary.
that.
Isn't it kind of documentary-ish? No?
It's based off of it's like a fictionalized film based off of I think a nonfiction book about people that live sort of nomadic lifestyles.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Aaliyah, we're back to you
okay.
now. You're on the hot seat.
Yeah, Nomadland for sure. I didn't even realize it was really. I don't think I ever I even watched many films. I watched a lot of shows, and I think The Queen's Gambit was the highlight of the year for me.
Oh, okay.
I really liked Unorthodox. I'm not sure, was it? I think it was released in 2020. And what else? That's about it. I'm not sure there was a very fruitful or successful year for movies.
No,
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
a
that's
great
something we're
for the
definitely need to
release.
get into.
You
Is-
know?
Is I was trying to come up with a top 10 list, and I don't think I saw 10 movies that came
Yeah, I
out.
don't even think I could list
Me
10
neither.
movies.
Yeah, I feel like if you like horror stuff, there were a lot of good releases this
Yeah.
year. But if you like any other genre, there were some genuinely good films that I think would be good in any year, but there were also not that many,
Yeah.
just altogether.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
yeah, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna respectfully disagree. I thought it was kind of a pretty good year, especially for indie movies. like Scare Me. Have you guys seen this one?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No, it's a
You're the
Shudder.
head
It's a
one,
Shudder
Mike.
release, right?
It's
I
fun.
followed Josh Rubin for a long time. Yeah, we're in the same circle. Yeah, I have to check it out. I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, it's great. Like Survival Skills was another one that I thought was like a fantastic like dark comedy that I got to see during the its festival screenings, and that's another fantastic movie. Save Yourselves was another one that was really good. That was like a little indie film.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think if you like genre film, I think there were a lot of really good ones. But but non-genre film, I think there were some good ones, but there weren't as many. I think compared to if you like, say sci-fi and horror.
I feel like it was kind of hard to know what came out as well. Like maybe it's just because I wasn't invested enough. But like Mike's linking movies I haven't even heard of yet that have come out, and I'm sure he probably mentioned them to me to watch when we did our interview. But yeah. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think like there were a lot of virtual festivals that kind of just flew under the radar for me. I know you guys follow that a little bit more. So what was the like highlight festival for you guys this year?
Yeah, I really like. I feel like the New York Film Festival had a lot of great options, a lot of great offerings, just both genre and generally. That's where I saw Nomadland and French Exit. I saw, which was really good for a more surreal comedy. And Fantasia had some really good ones too. They had a lot of offerings this year that were all pretty solid.
All right, Steven. I know you only went to one, but how was Beyond Fest?
Well, that was one of the few I've ever gone to, and that was really awesome. I mean, I really had a good time. It was a drive-in festival, drive-in theater festival, movie theater, drive-in. And that's one of the movies I was going to mention, which I think it was a little unfortunate considering everything that happened, was for the film The Dark and the Wicked. I think that if that film would have had a normal release, it would be on a lot of people's minds right now, and it'd be hotly talked about right now. But unfortunately, I think it kind of got swept under the rug a little bit there.
How about you, Alia?
I have a question. Have you guys seen Mank? Because that is 2020 release.
I haven't seen it yet. No,
I haven't seen it yet either.
Tom and I were supposed to see it, but we were gonna watch Citizen Kane.
Yeah, we were trying to do like a watch party type setup for Citizen Kane and Mank, and then life happened and nothing, and we never got around to doing it. But did you see Mank, Alia?
No, I really want to see it in the theater, and I think it's coming to like one of the Hoboken theaters or something like that. So I'm waiting for that. I'm not sure it's going to be a good experience to see it like on Netflix on the TV at home.
Yeah,
I saw it on Netflix and I enjoyed it, but I think it would be much better in a theatrical environment.
Okay.
Like it was still good, but I feel like it feels like it needs to be bigger.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my that's my understanding of it for sure.
Mike, did you see Mank?
Sorry, what?
Did you see Mank?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
And what was your festival of that you really enjoyed last year?
Fantasia Fest was pretty awesome. She Dies Tomorrow was a really awesome one that I didn't mention, but that's really good. I believe
I wanted to see that.
I believe that's on Hulu, and this wasn't a festival movie, but Rent-A-Pal's on Hulu, and that's another fantastic movie from 2020 that everybody should see.
All right, everyone out there listening, Mike's making you another list. Alia, did you say your favorite fest? La Femme,
well,
right? Of course.
Yes, I mean, yeah, but I really like the New York Film Festival. Yes, I unfortunately didn't go to any of the drive-ins or anything like they offered live that they tried to. But yeah, that's where I saw Nomadland. Their selection is always very solid, but also from the ones that I took part in, I really like the selection of Big Apple. I didn't get the chance to watch everything at La Femme or Chelsea, but Big Apple, I happened to like just sit down and watch all of the shorts that they had, and like I feel really honored to be selected because some of the shorts were really good.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah, Big Apple is really good. I liked it a lot.
So, Aaliyah, let me ask you something. Since Esther's Choice was in a few film festivals there, and these film festivals were online where you could go and watch them, how do you feel about that? Where your film, I saw your film on my computer screen versus where under normal circumstances you would have a big screen in front of you to show your film. How do you feel about that?
Well, when we were shooting this film, of course, we were not expecting a pandemic to happen. So we shot it for a big screen, not with Nolan's ambitions, but yeah, we expected it to be shown on a bigger screen than a computer monitor for sure. It is unfortunate, but given the specifics of Esther and the cast and the appeal of this cast, the international appeal of the cast, I think online festivals and making it accessible to anyone around the world was kind of a blessing for the film, especially in the beginning, because we had a simultaneous premiere in two coasts. And in one day, we had a lot of views and a big accumulation of viewers. That helped a lot with gaining the momentum for the film and PR. So I'm very pleased with the result, actually. But I'm waiting for 2021 to like get kind of back to normal because I really want to see the film myself on a big screen and have this shared experience with the audience, because the other objective of the film, besides it being visually pleasing on a big screen, was to have that feedback, that instant feedback from the people who watch it and hear them argue after the film ends, because that would be, personally for me, that's where I would get a kick at. It's just like listening to people talk about it and argue, which is the main objective. I really wanted people to fight.
If it makes you feel any better, Steven and I were arguing about it too after we watched it.
Good.
Yeah, we did go on a discussion of what we thought it meant and everything. I don't know if we actually asked you about it because we didn't want to do too many spoilers. But we had our opinions.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm satisfied and happy. I don't need to tell you what I think, because that's not the reason I made this film. Nobody cares what I think. I care what other people think.
But I care what you think, and that's, I want to know what you think.
Watch the film again.
Okay. So let me ask you then, because you said you made the film for the big screen. So what adjustments would you have made knowing that your film would be seen on the small screen? Like what would you have done differently, if anything?
I don't think I would have done anything differently. I think anything that you do with a big scope will look good on an iPhone or iPad or a computer screen. It's going out. If you shoot an iPhone, don't expect it to be looking good in a theater. But if you shoot with Amira like we did, and with big cooks and stuff, and pay attention to color correction and sound, even on the phone, it will look gorgeous. So no, I don't think I would adjust anything unless I would shoot a specific show for Snapchat where I would shoot vertically. But that's the only very specific example I can think of that I would adjust the visuals or the approach to shoot.
Okay.
How about I want to jump off with that Jeff and Mike and say, see, what do you guys think about the theater experience kind of going away or moving away from the theater experience and mostly things at home, and possibly, we saw the news that AMC is going bankrupt. A lot of big theater chains are starting to kind of fail. So how do you guys feel about maybe losing that theater experience or converting it over to more virtual at home experiences?
I would say that I like the I think that the theatrical experience is really not comparable to an at-home experience, really. Because even if you can replicate almost as good as possible conditions, you're not going to do the size. You still don't get that sort of collective ethos interactivity, which definitely improves the experience if you have a good audience. Mm-hmm. I don't expect it to totally go away. There have been a hot half dozen times that people have thought, oh, this new thing is going to kill Hollywood. Like, sound is going to kill Hollywood. VCRs are going to kill Hollywood. Digital is going to kill Hollywood. And they do that every single time. And then it doesn't. It just changes.
But
so
COVID's
I think
literally
ultimately
killing
it'll be
man.
fine.
Mike, it's literally dying.
There's a corpse of a theater right outside.
It is. It's right down the street, man. I see the broken windows.
The thing that makes me saddest in the entire world is LA is littered with all these buildings where you could tell they were cool old Art Deco theaters, and now they're like a Target or like a spa. And I'm like, why? That's so sad.
Yeah.
Target. We need Targets, okay? We need something to burn down, Walmart. Damn it. How about you, Mike? Same question.
Yeah, I think I kind of echo what Jeff is saying about, you can never really replicate that experience. Movies were meant to be viewed as like he said, a communal thing. I am kind of a homebody, so I kind of love being able to watch movies at home. Like, I'll be honest. I think that, theaters and home option is nice to kind of coexist together. Especially if you are a little more, introvert and you don't really like to go out a lot, or, sometimes it's just hard to spend all that money to go out and make a big thing of it. So, I don't want theaters to go away, of course, but like, I also don't really hate the idea altogether of like home viewing. So I think where we're going to settle maybe is kind of in a happy medium, just like people thought, TV was going to kill theaters, and people thought streaming was going to kill it. And everybody thinks the next big thing, like Jeff said, is going to kill the cinema. I think that we'll adapt.
No, damn it, it's Thunderdome. 2 enter, 1 must leave.
crack the pull stick, one person leaves. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be interesting for sure to see how it shakes out. But I think that it's going to be not like a one or the other, maybe just like a both, kind of finding a way to survive. I think, sometimes, I'm not a parent, but I can imagine, like, if you had a ton of kids, it would be hard to get away, go to a theater or something. So, I think it makes a kind of a nice option, but as somebody that loves the theater, I wouldn't want it to go away, altogether. So,
yeah, I think Leah mentioned, kind of riffed on that a little bit when she's saying it makes it more accessible. Like, even with the festivals, right, being more online. Like, there's no way I could ever go to like New York or Fantasia or something. They're too far away. I can't get the time off for that kind of stuff. But I could have virtually watched it if I wanted to. But yeah, so I wanted to ask, what was everyone's last movie they saw in theater? Aaliyah, you want to go first?
I think I saw Parasite in 2020. I think it was a rerun or something in January, and that was it. It was like a special Oscars movies run.
They did progressively wider releases.
Yeah. I think that was it. No, I don't really go to theaters to watch like the films that just came out. I used to go to Angelica a lot. Like every Thursday, every Friday, it would be like our Angelica night. But then the slate that they have of independent films became like a complete trash. And I was like, no, I'm done with it. And then I started watching a lot of IFC's and Lincoln Center's retrospectives. And I don't remember the last time I went to the film that just came out. I think I watched, what was it, 2019, The Shape of Water in theater. I think it was that, Phantom Thread, because of the music. And that's about it. I don't really go to theaters much, but I have a very strong opinion as a filmmaker of theaters going away. Going forward, I'm not sure we have right now. We have like a system to measure the success of films rather than the box office. So I don't know how, like, I really feel for all the 17 films of Warner Brothers that got released or will be released on HBO Max at the same time as they go to theaters. I wouldn't be one. I wouldn't want to be one of those creators of those films right now, because then like it begs the question, like, well, how do you gauge the success of my film if you haven't given it the chance to run in theaters and see how people are going to respond to it with their money, with the ticket, you know? And Netflix releases all of this stats, which are complete bullshit.
Just make them up. They're like, who watched it? Everyone. Everyone watched it.
Many
the entire
times.
World. They watch it for 5 minutes. That doesn't count.
Hey, everyone loved Hoobie Halloween, okay? Everyone loved Hoobie Halloween.
It was the greatest Halloween-themed film of all time.
How about you, Jeff? What was the last movie you watched? Oh, Leah, go ahead.
And then it's just very hard to navigate this new world where it's like it's a transition time, right? And the transition times are really hard always. But I'm not sure I'm really comfortable with movies going away, even though I'm not there. I'm not showing my films at theaters right now. But then I know that this is the natural progression for any filmmaker, is to like get there and see where you're at, because that's very measurable. Whereas right now we don't have a system to measure other than views, but the views, then do you go to Vimeo and release your films there? You know what I mean? It's just like there's no feedback, where theater gives you feedback and gives you money as well. I mean, how are you gonna make money on your films even if it's a super hit on Netflix? How's the cast gonna make money? How's the producer gonna make money? And director, we all live on points. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Netflix doesn't give points. So
I'd also add that like some films very, very well benefit from that sense of scale. Like Godzilla versus Kong, like I'll be glad to be able to see it. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
You froze, Jeff.
Maybe that's all you had to say.
Yeah, that's all. That's it.
Well, while we wait for Jeff to come back, Mike, what was the last movie you saw? Oh, Jeff, we lost you for a second there.
We lost you for a little bit there, Jeff. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna happen. I'll just repeat myself because I don't know what you heard.
You said about King Kong and Godzilla.
Oh, you said it was King Kong Godzilla.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like me. No, I was just gonna say that, like, to build up that some films benefit better with a sense of scale. Like that film, for example, is designed to be larger and projected on a larger screen and a larger experience. On your phone or on a small television at home is not even almost what the filmmakers intended.
Yeah, that's true. But I think as a filmmaker too, I think you're going to have to just anticipate that and plan for that more. For instance, maybe it was for Mank. I don't know. There was a lot of, criticism with Warner Brothers going to stream now. And a lot of filmmakers were like, wait, no, we got to see it on the big screen. But I think as a filmmaker just going forward in this new age, you kind of have to expect your phone to be viewed on a cell phone. Or what did I say? Your movie to be viewed on a cell phone.
I view many phones on my phone.
Right. But I really do think you have to anticipate that and just work with that. It's just technology is going in that direction.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said about what's facilitating that in our world right now, right? Like, we all know COVID's not going to last forever. I mean, well, in a sense, it'll be there forever, but we'll have vaccines. It won't be as much of a...
It'll be safer.
Yeah, it'll be safer, but like it's just getting back to that place where we're making those $100 million, $200 million movies, and then everyone's going to the movies again. Like Jeff said, like theaters will be around forever. It's just, will they be around to that scale? Like where
that's interesting, right? Because how much are we going to rely on the box office going forward? Because I got to imagine, like Mike said, there's a lot of people who just want to stay in. And it hasn't been terrible being able to stay in. For instance, with Wonder Woman coming out on Christmas, that was like the most talked about movie at the time. And it was kind of nice to just watch it with my family at home on Christmas Day.
Yeah. So wouldn't it be nice to watch a good movie on Christmas Day?
I was just about to say something like that. Watch The Godfather instead.
On
That's
Christmas.
a Christmas movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, Dad, you better give me some spaghetti or else. But, I mean,
look at what they've done to my boy.
But also
I
with
want to
that
make him an offer he
said,
can't refuse.
also with that said, Aaliyah, if you could, let's say, watch Wonder Woman at home on Christmas with whoever, wouldn't you be more willing to do that than go to the movie theater to watch it?
Yes, that's very true. But there's like two different people speaking inside of me again, like the viewer and the person who's making the content, right?
Yeah.
For a creator, it's a disaster. For a person, so that's what that actually what Warner Brothers has been saying is that we're consumer oriented right now. There's like
Yeah.
big tech Silicon Valley effort to disrupt Hollywood and Hollywood ways right now. And it's coming from the CEO and like the heads at Warner Brothers right now, that they're trying to please the consumer. But then you have all these people watching at home, but also the half of the consumers are the creators as well. You're gonna forget everyone who is in the arts or in the film. They're consuming as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a good strategy in the long run. In the short run, yes, of
Yeah.
course they're gonna make a lot of money because people are gonna stay in because of COVID, and like everyone loves this new reality of getting content instantly. But then in the long run, I don't think it's gonna sustain itself. And I don't think it's gonna work. So I really like the idea of staying in and watching on the TV and sharing it with someone I know, or like having a party and watching something still communally, but in your pod or in your close circle. That's definitely great. And I will probably watch more films because of it, because it's so easy. But then I'm not sure I'm fully on board with the idea of completely eliminating the films in theaters. I don't
Well,
think it's good.
I don't think that would happen though. I don't think they're gonna completely eliminate films in theater because
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
but
gonna exist though. It's gonna
yeah, it's gonna
exist.
exist, but it's gonna exist for 150 million to $100 million films. Or horrors, or like Get Out kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I think before COVID, before the pandemic, it was already happening to theaters. Is that there's nothing to watch. There's nothing for me to watch. I mean, like for my friends to watch.
Because you like the smart films, right?
It's not just smart films. It's the genre films that are not
Yeah.
genre, not horror and not superheroes. There's like there's no drama, there's no character study films in theaters to watch because they're so small. So they're not gonna make as much money unless there's like a name director involved or stars involved. But that means like if the stars are involved, there was always compromise with the story and with the script. Whereas with independent films or with the films that are like A24 released, they're more focused on insight on the character on the internal arc, and those movies don't make a lot of money. They're very pleasing for intellectuals, I would say, yes. but they don't make a lot of money. And so that, I think that was the problem. That was like there was a trend that was happening for a couple of years before 2020, and that is the real issue with the theaters. It's like when I'm saying that it's gonna, of course it's not gonna be eliminated, but I don't think I will go to theaters. Because there's nothing to watch for me.
Yeah, and you make a really good point because where we live, I was talking to Tom way back when, in the fact that when Marvel, what was it, Endgame came out, literally that's all that was shown in the theater. Literally, I mean, there was only Marvel Endgame that you could watch. It filled up the entire screens for all the theaters up here, save but one. And then they had just a few other movies like Black Panther still playing or something.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge issue, right? Because those movies then navigate to streaming, and then you run into what Aaliyah was saying about streaming, right? Is that you don't really make money putting your movie on Netflix.
But I mean, it's got to be an exciting time right now, though, right? Because who knows where things are going to fall? I mean, Aaliyah, granted, you might have a much different opinion because of, what you do for a living. But I got to imagine it's just such an exciting time because I think of A Marriage Story, where if it wasn't on Netflix, I don't think I ever would have seen it. And there's so many other independent movies that if it weren't for the streaming services, I've never would have seen because for like she also said, their movie theaters don't showcase any of these independent movies. I mean, for
But
us, what do we got? Tom Laramie Theaters? Is that what it's called?
but I have a question for you. Do you think you saw The Marriage Story because Netflix put it as top 10 in US right now, or because of the Oscar buzz?
I literally saw it for the Oscar buzz because we watch it. We do an Oscars episode and we watch all the best pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I probably wouldn't have seen a lot of Bomback films if it weren't for streaming services because I think
I would see
all
no
of his
Bomback films.
Yeah, I think I've seen all of his films on
and I'd be
streaming.
fine. I'd be fine with that.
Oh no, Jeff! How about you, Mike? Are you a bombacker?
Do you like to bomb back?
I like to get a little bombastic sometimes.
All right.
No, but I think what's really interesting though is like with Netflix, they're giving we were talking about Mank, and they, I guess, gave David Fincher like a blank check basically for like the next 5 years to just make whatever he wants. I mean, to me, that's really exciting, and that's where I'm a little less cynical about streaming when you have really talented filmmakers that are kind of given a lot of creative control. I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, would a movie like Mank get made if Netflix didn't say, here's, I don't know how much it costs, 30 million, 40 million, probably a lot more. But you know what I mean? Just like, here's a blank check, make whatever you want. I mean, it's...
Yeah, Mike, just to support that point, that's a really good point because, I mean, you could also look at Bong Joon-ho's Okja, where they gave him a blank check. The Del Toro's making that Pinocchio film that wouldn't have been able to maybe get the funding it needed without it being kind of disconnected from box office results.
Or Disney.
And so those are good.
Right, because he's not making the Disney Pinocchio, he's making his own Pinocchio.
Oh, right. Like the scary movie Pinocchio where he kills people with his nose?
Yeah.
He tells a lie and just gets closer
Lie
and
to me,
closer
Daddy.
to you.
Lie to me. Oh, that was the Pinocchio I wrote. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I'm a real boy.
Like the porn parody.
Yeah, it was
Pinocchio.
top 10 on Pornhub. I don't know if you guys saw it. Steven played Geppetto.
Hey, well, who did you play, buddy?
Pinocchio. Look at this.
Oh,
Look at this
hey.
thing.
Just keeps growing, huh,
I
buddy?
just kept saying, I'm clever, I'm clever, I'm clever. And then my nose broke my monitor.
Oh.
But yeah, what are we talking about? Steven, what's next?
Well, Alia, I did want to ask, and this goes out to all of you because you're all doing something. How are your productions going with the new year?
It's been great, actually. I've been full force back on set since August as a scriptie, and it's been mostly a positive experience. It all depends on the production, of course, and how the producers and the production company is treating the crew and stuff. But I think sometime in September, the Producers Guild and IATSE and the Actors Guild finally came to an agreement. So all the union sets I've been on were great and very safe. And I would say film set in November and October was the safest place I felt
Really?
the best at. Yeah.
Is it because of Tom Cruise? He made you feel really safe?
No.
Oh.
I wouldn't comment on how Tom Cruise genuinely makes me feel, but no, I wouldn't credit him for that for sure. And I even managed to shoot a couple of some spots in commercials myself to direct and produce at the end of December. I felt the shoes of a producer in COVID for sure, and like I have so much gratitude for everyone else I worked with prior to that. because it's so scary. You feel responsible for everyone who steps on your set. And I had everyone tested, of course. I got everyone good masks and stuff, but still, that those like 10 days after we wrapped were like that so stressful. Like checking in on everyone and asking like how you feeling, are you okay? And then the holidays are coming up, and like just like even asking someone to come in and risk everything before the holidays, before they're gonna go see their families and stuff and expose themselves, was really hard. So I had to juggle all of those moral questions in my head. But being an pretty moral person by default, I continued on and actually shot stuff. So yeah, it was great actually. I have a very positive experience with that, but again, it depends on the production and depends on the people you work with. And of course, in the middle of the day, everyone forgets about social distancing. Everyone stops like wiping their equipment and stuff. So you got to be careful and mindful of your space and your bubble and stuff. But I have a very good experience with it. I think we can continue on working with COVID as long as people are not stupid in general.
Wow,
Like your LA people are right now.
Hey, whoa, shots fired. Hey.
Fun fact, I literally just recovered from COVID and I was super safe and I got it anyway.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're better.
You.
Wow, how bad was that, Jeff?
I was very fortunate.
But the COVID got to Jeff. No,
got him. It got him. No, Jeff.
Damn you, COVID. Damn you, COVID. Well, Jeff's gone. So, Mike, I've seen that you've been doing a lot of reviewing a lot of movies with the Blu-rays and the blog. How is that going for you? And what's next in this new year? Oh my God, he's back. The ghost.
I know. No, seriously. Like, I actually died from COVID, and then now I'm haunting your podcast.
Oh, hey.
Oh, you've got to hell then if you're with me at all.
You're definitely in hell.
Are you kidding me? Not heaven, but purgatory. That's purgatory.
Okay, we'll go with that. Thank you. That's very kind of you.
No, but okay. So fortunately, I had a mild case. I actually never even got a fever. I got better. I actually feel like myself for the last like 5 days or so, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of took advantage of the end of year weirdness to start a podcast because I thought, well, everyone's home, more people are available. And I had a lot of people that I've interviewed over the years and that I've been on their shows. And so I knew a lot of smart people that I knew were really great.
Oh,
so,
who are some of these smart people you know?
I know Mike for sure.
Like all of the gentlemen on this right now have been on my show, except you, Steven. But you're welcome to come on.
Definitely not a gentleman, so that's why.
The underwater episode, Jeff. The underwater episode. I'm telling you. My body is ready.
So what about you, Mike? How are things going for you now into the new year?
Great. I mean, as far as projects go, it's nice because all writers should be kind of isolated anyways. So this is kind of a perfect setup. I have a new book that's hopefully going to be coming out, hopefully like later this year. And then, I'm just working on the movie reviews. I do like some new movies, like short films, but I also do like the bulk of it's like home video stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right, yeah, you do Blu-ray releases and the like. Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I've been really fortunate that I've had a lot of amazing like smaller labels like Arrow and Severin send me stuff to review, but then I get like stuff like from Warner Brothers and Paramount. Like those two studios have been nothing but awesome. So yeah, it's incredible because I was reviewing the Blade UHD release, and that was pretty awesome. Yeah, so I mean, it's unbelievable that I can get these films and get to talk about them give my opinion for whatever it's worth. So
I see. So no wonder you were in defense of the streams earlier because Warner Brothers has been good to you.
And he doesn't like to go to theaters, so it's a win-win.
Oh, the Warner Brothers shield. We found him.
You guys,
we found it.
We found
He's
you
like,
guys.
Wonder Woman 1984 was the greatest film of our era.
Mike's,
Obey.
you didn't hear, but Mike's favorite movie of 2020 was Tenet.
Oh,
Mike
that was
is
so
the
bad.
Snyder Cut. Mike actually
Thank you
is
for
the
saying
Snyder
that.
Cut.
And he watched it on a microwave.
Yeah. No, I watched it on a little phone inside my phone, inside that phone.
So he watches phones on his phones too. I
Yeah,
see. I
see?
knew it.
Oh,
It always
Shit.
comes back around.
So, Mike, are you willing to share with us a little bit? What exactly are you writing? Is that
Oh yeah. So it is very different from my film guide. But it's also kind of so my film guide was I was really inspired by like film magazines and film zines or fanzines, and this is about the history of horror on home video and just everything from like Castle 8 movies all the way to like now, and this is such an interesting time with home video and streaming. So I mean it's like the book is finished and I'm just kind of putting the polish on it and everything, but I mean it's almost like it's been delayed because we're kind of living through this history of home video with streaming and everything. So it's been really fascinating. This is like 3 years of work. It's just from just research, and I've done so many like interviews with people. So it's gonna be. I mean, I hope fans like it. That's kind of. It sounds super corny, but yeah, I mean, it's like I get a kick that people have said they really like the film guide that I did, and I never imagined that I would make something that somebody else would enjoy. I mean, that's kind of surreal to me.
And FYI, everyone, this is the film guide, just in case you were curious. This is what it looks like. You can order it today on Amazon.com/film guide.
so?
See,
Mike,
I'm sorry.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying he's a perfect model for my, do like the Vanna White kind of pose with the.
He's selling me right now. I'm gonna order mine
Me
right
and
today. in
perfect
fact.
model should never go in a sentence together.
But Mike, I did want to ask, what exactly constitutes as home video right now? Because there is such like a middle line with prosumer equipment. What exactly would home video be in 2020 or 2021?
I mean, like the boot. I think the really fascinating thing is like the boutique labels that are putting out a lot of these amazing movies. Like I said, Vinegar Syndrome or Arrow.
Okay.
Severin, like those are like the labels that are really putting out some really cool, really hard to find stuff. And what's really interesting about this book is I talked to a lot of people that are working at these labels, and it's really fascinating, like what goes into just bringing a movie to market, like all the work that entails, like they got to track down the rights, they got to get the film negatives and just make sure everything. I mean, it's like a small miracle we get anything, just because it all has to align for these wonderful weird movies to make it to like Blu-ray. And now a lot of labels are doing like the UHD stuff, which I mean, again, is really exciting because it's.
What does UHD mean, by the way? I don't really.
Ultra high def.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really fascinating though. Like I said, it's I take a deep dive into some of these individual labels. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, because Jeff, in your podcast with the director of Reanimator, he was talking about going to a video store in the Valley.
Yeah.
And how he was able to find a lot of movies that you just can't find anywhere else, right? Like there's a lot of cinema that's just lost right? If it doesn't get like
Absolutely.
remasters or stuff like
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of stuff that was only released on VHS. There's a lot of stuff that was released on.
No,
Oh,
Jeff
no.
wasn't released on VHS. No.
He always leaves us blue ball. Damn you. What's the blue ball version for a lady, Aaliyah? What? We
I don't know. I feel like you are, as a lady, you are in a constant blue ball state.
Oh, I feel so sorry
it's
for
not
ladies.
It's not, so it's not even like a thing. I think it's the lifestyle.
Oh, I see. All right.
Never get the satisfaction.
Oh no. I'm sorry. All right, Jeff, we lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I can tell that.
Yeah. You kept I said you kept blue balling us, and Aaliyah said she's in a constant state of blue balling.
Oh, but none of that's my fault. So
It is. You're not bringing the satisfaction.
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna have to own that, I guess.
Gotta get more satisfying, my friend. I mean, I think you're pretty satisfying. Myself.
I try. I do.
And Aaliyah, your work's always great. Esther's Choice is very satisfying. Do you have a feature film planned to be released this year? What is everyone's big goal for 2021?
The big goals. Okay.
Released? No. Nothing is going to be released on my watch in 2021. Just not commercially wise, I think. Maybe a short film. I don't know. I just shot an experimental thingy. I was hoping to submit it to Tribeca Experimental because they have a deadline coming in, but I'm not sure I'm gonna rush it. It's the last thing I want to do is to rush something to just for the sake of getting out. So maybe a short film, but feature film, I have a couple of offers, thank God, to direct on the scripts that I haven't written. Marvelous work by other writers. So I'm really excited about that, but I'm pretty sure not going to happen in 2021. Maybe pre-production, maybe scouting on locations, maybe raising money, additional money or something like that. But I don't think I'm going to shoot anything or direct anything substantial as like a feature film this year. I'm very optimistic about the future, but not about this year, I don't think.
All right, how about you,
gonna
Jeff?
happen.
And, what's
Now I'm
big? What's going on
depressed.
big for you, buddy?
For my Forbes writing, I'm at the end of this month. I'm going to be covering Sundance, which is really great.
Oh, awesome.
It's not my first festival at all, but it's my first Sundance, so I'm excited.
Congrats!
Congrats.
Thank you. There's a lot of really good stuff this year.
Mhm.
And then my other big goal is, well, my two other big goals are to keep growing the podcast and getting more awesome guests. I've been really lucky so far. And then I have been writing the basic outline for a screenplay that I want to finish by the end of the year.
Awesome.
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
Go, Jeff. Mike, I know you have your book coming out, but is there anything else on the horizon for you?
Yeah, well, the blog, as always, and I mean, that by itself keeps me pretty busy. Other than that, just kind of surviving and watching movies. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's what we all got to do, huh?
How about you, buddy? You got anything?
Well, I do have some things that I want to bring up. What I've been doing right now is I'm editing a short film that I'm working on. It's been years, finally getting towards the finish line, slowly but surely. And I've kind of locked in the final cut of it. But now I'm getting to a point where I'm really starting to understand your perspective, Tom, where you always like to edit with sound. And we were talking about this earlier, where now I'm kind of wanting to incorporate the sound because when I edit with no sound at all. I like to just edit in silence, play some music on the side, but kind of just feel.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the perspective I take. Is just like feeling the emotion without the sound because it just helps me to see it maybe in a more emotional way. But then I've been getting to a point where I need the sound because I want to fine tune the milliseconds for the pacing. It's like, okay, do I
Sure.
need to do an
Yeah.
extra frame here or here?
Hmm.
So, Jeff, this is what I wanted to ask you because you do editing as well.
I do. Yeah.
Um, what's your approach to editing? And then how do you incorporate the sound? How does sound play into your editing?
Well, so I found that I like to edit with the sound on. I see, you're doing the Hitchcock thing where ideally a cut should work just as visuals and still tell the story.
I just
It
like
seems
it.
like.
It just allows me
Yeah.
to be more absorbed into the scene for myself. I
I
like
get
to just
that.
quiet things
Yeah.
around me,
Yeah. That makes sense to me. For me, I like the sound because it sometimes the intonation of the inflection, it might look perfect, but the intonation sets a
Yes.
little bit different tone
Yeah.
than the scene needs. And so my general thing is I like to kind of capture it as a whole and then complete the cut and then build a wider sound profile after I've mostly locked a cut. And that's
Okay.
usually how I do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of ending up that way just because of the way I'm progressing through it. But I will say that one thing I've been noticing with my edit, and it's been a little frustrating for me personally because it hasn't been easy. Aaliyah, after talking to you, I realized just how important a script supervisor is. Because if I had one, I would have been saved a lot of heartache right now. And I am cheating a lot within the edits. Like there's scenes that the continuity is nowhere there, but the movement or the emotion is. So I'm using that to like cheat the cut. But one thing I've really noticed is that when I was doing the film, I was approaching it from the perspective of the actor per se, or maybe the character and their approach to where they should be within that place and time. And then I think I was thinking about it within the cinematographer's place, like, okay, this is a camera angle, this is how we're gonna move, this is kind of lighting, like that perspective. And then just within the production overall. But when I was editing, or now that I'm editing, what I've also come to realize is that as a director, I didn't break down the scenes properly in that I didn't understand I didn't really take time to understand the perspective of each scene and to understand the flow of how the scene should be. And so it's I'm finding the issue within the editing part, right? I'm realizing all those issues. So Aaliyah, this is my question to you, and just with your films, you produced a film recently, and of course you have Esther's Choice. What are some of the things you're learning as a filmmaker with all these productions under your belt? Like, what are kind of the growing pains you're finding?
Well, I don't know if it's something that I've always had in myself, or is it film school or just experience on set with other directors failing. I always thought that pre-production is the key.
Yeah.
Just like with writing as well, the outlines of your script, I'm a big proponent of outlining and treatments and beat sheets and sequence before you actually sit down and type the fade in. Also, one of the things that I noticed over past couple of years is that no one is reading your script. Like I sold 2 features, but after that, I don't think I ever sat down and wrote a script on a spec. You have an idea, you write a treatment or a 2-pager pitch. And because I'm a director as well, I make a visual deck, and this is what I send to producers. And then I would sit down and write a script if they're interested. So the same deal with directing or even producing something short or feature length is preparing the director's book, preparing a vision, talking to the cinematographer, brainstorming the shots, and every shot and every scene has to have a concept. And if you have that locked in the pre-production, I don't think you will be lost on set as long as you come back to it and check yourself and look at your to-do list. and constantly assure yourself of your vision and how you stay onto it. So if you pre-pro it on set, it's going to be easy. Then if you don't, then you have to figure it out in the edit, and then there's some magic has to happen in post-production. So yeah, I feel you about that. But then then something magical can happen still in the post-production, because you will see something that you didn't see on set and realize, oh, maybe that's the theme that I should explore. And then you go back to your footage and check the footage and see like which shot or which performance or intonation actually adds to that theme or to that concept. And then you end up with a film that you didn't expect or didn't envision, but then it's a film. It's a complete thing.
Exactly. From an editor's perspective, like a lot of times there are like minute nuances that an editor will see because they've watched the footage and all the possible options over and over and over that really adds a lot of like vibrancy and nuance that may be better than what was intended, and that totally happens. I really feel your comment about needing a script supervisor. That's too cute. Good job. Good job. I miss my dogs. My dogs are locked out right now.
That's cousin it.
But so I did. So my DP is a friend of mine, and he was working on someone else's short, and as a favor, I came in as editor. And I could tell right away, I'm like, you didn't have a script supervisor, did you? Because they had like 5 shots this one scene, just for one example. 2 of them had like sunglasses on the head. Yeah. 2 of them had no glasses. And 2 of them had someone like there was some other minute change. And I thought, so I can like, and the director was like, well, why can't we use this one? I like this take. And I'm like, you don't, okay. So I sent this elaborate email where I'm like, so here are the takes that work together. Foop, foop, foop. These are your choices. I'm doing the best that I can. So like having that consistency is really important, and it gives you a lot of options.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's where I'm running into right now is just, I don't have a lot of options and I'm cheating a lot. There's a lot of cheating going on with the cuts, hoping the audience doesn't care, because I mean, Tom and I had this discussion when we were talking about editing and continuity, where continuity is extremely important because it helps a ton. But
it just takes variables away, you know?
It does, absolutely. But it's not necessarily the death knell, right? Like, if someone doesn't have their sunglasses on for one scene or the next scene, it's not necessarily out of question to use it, right? You can still use it if it is the best take, maybe. It has to, there's this flow to it, right? It has to have this flow, and it has to work within that flow. So
as long as it's not so glaring that it takes the audience out of the moment, you're fine.
Exactly. So Mike, let me ask you, since you're the big critic of all of our films and us filmmakers here, how critical are you of the films you watch when the production side isn't necessarily meeting the standards, especially if you're doing these home videos?
Come on, who are we kidding? Mike's favorite movie is Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, which we're gonna talk about, because
listen, that movie's awesome.
Oh yeah, it may be a masterpiece, I dare say.
So I review a lot of like short films or like indie films, and I always, if it's like a lower budget film, I usually always just kind of, I don't really factor that in as long as it has a good story. You don't need a multi-million-dollar budget for a great script. If it's a great story, has a great script, it flows all right. I don't really look my nose down on like a low budget, no budget. I mean, I kind of love those movies. So, I mean, sometimes that low budget aesthetic can actually really help a movie. Like I think Clerks is the perfect example of, this like nearly no budget working, it looks very documentary like. So yeah, I'm always pretty lenient about like production value as long as it, just have a good script. have something to say, or if you can't have a good script, just be so outrageous that it's fun to watch, like Vampire's Kiss.
So then strictly when you are critiquing a film, you're just focusing on story?
Well, I mean, I look at everything. Like, I take
Yeah.
everything into consideration. But I mean, if it's clear that this person had like virtually no budget, the script is really strong, or it's interesting, or like the characters are interesting, I'm not going to necessarily knock it for its budgetary limitations.
Yeah.
It's more just like was it a good story at that point? How does it? The look of it is. I mean, the look of the movie is important, but if I can tell they're struggling in the budget department, I try not to be that critical of that aspect. I mean, I'm definitely more critical of like story. I mean, because like I said, you don't need a huge budget for a great story. Just
Yeah.
write it.
Yeah, and I think I've been noticing that a lot, especially because I'm also coming out with a YouTube show in soon. Actually, we're gonna record.
Way
I
to
think on the
bury the
24th,
lead,
and
buddy.
then
Way to bury the lead.
hey, there you go. And then we're gonna go live. I think February 20th. We're gonna release our first episode. But this is the first time I've had a investor on a project, and it's been a very interesting dynamic, to say the least, to have that aspect where I think within filmmaking, especially when there's money on the line, someone else's money on the line, especially, you can kind of get lost in you can kind of lose the story. You can kind of get caught up in every other aspect of filmmaking. And then sometimes the story can become secondary. Have you all noticed, like Jeff as an editor, have you noticed that within the productions, or Aaliyah, have you noticed that happen at all?
Well, the bigger the movie, more people have an input to that, and you are in this rabbit holes of notes, of getting the notes from people who have no idea how to make this or like how to approach it, but they have some kind of an opinion on like a paragraph in your script or whatever. I see that a lot on commercials, and as I direct commercials and like music video and stuff, that is for someone else and not something I came up with or very passionate about it. Let's be honest. Uh, that's where you kind of realize, I think, as a creator, if you don't do that, you're not up for a good start. Is that you're not really a creator, you're a negotiator. You're the person who
Yeah.
is in that position of power and you're getting paid really well. So accept that, be grateful, and say yes, and find a compromise. That is not gonna kill you. Like you're not gonna make like a deal with the devil or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
still, it's not ideal or something that you
Yeah.
stand by 100%. But if it gets you to the next point of notes, the next round, and the color, like the from the rough cuts to the color, yeah, just say yes and move on. You know what I mean? So that is
Mhm.
very pertinent to the commercial world. When you get these notes and when you get the input from people who are not creative, but they pay you money, and so you have to say yes or just listen to what they want. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna use this project. You're not gonna put it on your portfolio if it's not something stunning, right?
I see.
So I don't see it much in the independent world, or at least where I am at right now, because like that's if you find money, you find money from people who actually trust your vision, so you just like go with it.
Yeah.
But in the commercial world, it's so common, you know. But you got to deal with it. I mean, that's part of the job.
I just wanted to add that, like, yeah, and sometimes too, you'll find people that are even creators that are preoccupied with certain ideas, but they don't. And you'll find this a lot with like indie shorts. I've noticed where
Mhm.
people will be preoccupied with what they wanted, but you can't necessarily make that out of what they have.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that one particular short that I was working with, I noticed when the drives came in that there was literally no B-roll of any kind, and except for there were a lot of B-roll clips of someone at different angles very slowly rolling a joint, and that was not in the script either that they sent me. And so I'm like, so
Wow,
one,
okay.
why? Two, what?
Yeah.
And so the director's like, oh yeah, I wanted the beginning to have this like montage of the person rolling a joint and have this tone for it. I didn't tell you that. I'm like, you literally never mentioned that ever, and it's not in the script. So no. And then my friend who's the DP, he was like, yeah, I kept asking, do you want extra angles? Do you want B-roll of the stuff? And the director kept telling him like, no, that's not necessary. It was super necessary. So
yeah.
It was a terrible experience. He was like, yeah, I kept getting overruled. I'm like, well, and then the director's like, well, why can't you make this cut? I'm like, because you literally made it impossible to make this work. So, but she had this vision of what she wanted, and it wasn't, I made it kind of work, but I'm super not happy with it because it's sometimes like what people always think you can do magic in post.
Fix it in post, right?
You can fix it in post, but you really can't. You can do all sorts of things with what you're given, with the materials you have. You can't make new shots. You can't make B-roll that doesn't exist. You can't make a performance be perfect that isn't in any of the cuts you have. Like, you really can't fix anything in post. You can make things that are like almost perfect better, but you can't make things that are bad or that don't work magic.
Yeah. So then is that a hard pill you have to swallow a lot then, Jeff? Is just, I would love to make your project look better, but I can only work with what I got.
Yeah, like I was fortunate for this one that the DP was a friend of mine and agreed with what the limitations of the shoot were. So like he could back me up and be like, look, I was there. We needed these shots and it didn't happen. So this is the best that we can do. And so sometimes you need like other people that were more involved with like the process and the technicality of it to be honest about it. But I ended up having to be like an elaborate, like clear communications. Like, look, here are the things that can work. Here are the problems with the footage for the thing that you want. This is the best that can be done towards your vision. And this is why. And so this is what the cut is.
And that's why we say pre-production.
That 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
That.
You gotta fix.
But then because like then your vision becomes. I mean, again, add to that. I don't think a lot of directors, especially beginning directors, know what the vision is. The definition of the vision. The vision is not one scene or a tone or a color palette of your film. The vision is the entire film in your mind, from one transition to another, from the cut to the transition, from one cut to another, within the scene and within the shot. You know what I mean? Yeah. That is what the vision is.
Right.
So if you have a clear vision, you make sure that you get it on set.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Because like the thing is to like have it be like, because all of these different steps in pre-production that you do and making sure you have the right people on set and making sure that everything's working well, it's not like the whole purpose is to eliminate potential problems that get in the way of the final product being what the vision is, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I can't use these shots because there was no script supervisor and there's no continuity. Or like, I don't have the material to cut to make this transition. Or you want to highlight this thing and it's not there. Or the sound is off. And so you have to fuck around with it, really. The point is eliminating all those problems. So if you have like a bunch of objectively good footage and just different versions of footage that can tell your story, then you have options to make it the most nuanced, like you're saying, like the fine cuts that you want, because there aren't problems in the way.
Jeff, it sounded like you had it all. Every time you weren't sure, you cut to the B-roll of the joint. Right?
Exactly.
Wait, this shit's not working.
Exactly.
Get that joint going. I want
and then the viewers at home are like, this story doesn't work at all. Oh, it's because they're high and it's weird.
Hey. Wait, this joint is rolled during the day, but it's nighttime. Don't even fucking worry about it.
There's a joint there. Who cares? Just bring down the levels there a little bit. So, Jeff, As an
Yes.
editor, what are some things you wish filmmakers would keep into consideration for you within the pre-production phase?
As for from an editor's perspective, I mean, you don't necessarily need like the Fincher model of 130 takes, but
Mhm.
the more material you have to work from, the better.
So just tons
And
of
the more
coverage.
and tons of coverage, and you don't need tons. Like 5 takes will be good as long as they're 5 decent takes without problems. You know, you
Yeah.
just want alternatives, you want options, you want the ability for things to work out and to tell the story without there being a myriad of little microcosm issues that get in the way of potential for the editor.
Okay.
I have something to say about that actually.
Okay.
As a
Okay. Let's hear
director,
it.
I recently just gave an interview, and someone asked me something very similar to that. But um, probably for the 90%, especially for the beginning filmmakers, yeah, coverage is great. But the thing is that it comes from the TV, like, and I scripted a couple of TV shows, is that you shoot ton of coverage and then you give all the options to the editorial, and all of a sudden editorial is so in charge of your story. And I get it, the director is no one in TV and the writers is everything and it's the god. And that's okay. But if you're a director of a narrative film that you probably wrote or have envisioned, you have to get yourself, I think, in the shape of such preparedness that you have all the transitions and you have all the cuts, and you know when you cut and when the shot is supposed to work. So if you got 2 shots that are beautiful performance, but they're not in the 2 takes that are beautiful performance, but they are not in the shot that you envisioned.
I will say everyone's a big fan of
Well,
the
someone's in the
you
shot
should
right
get-
now.
Everyone's a big fan.
Like, your dog is exactly like a larger version of my dog.
you should get that performance out of your actor for the shot that you envisioned, because
Right.
then your editor has more power than you do, and I don't think
I
that's a
see.
good thing for
Well, I
a
don't
director
think that,
to have.
like-
I like overshooting something is not necessarily a good strategy, especially if you have in like a character piece or a very specific thing that you're trying
Yeah.
to say
Well, like-
thematically.
No, I see what you're
Giving
saying.
too much coverage is diluting the vision. But to have it's a big privilege to not give a lot of coverage, because then you have to be very prepared and know what you want to get, know what
And
you
very
want to deliver
precise,
to
right?
if you're not confident, if you're really insecure, if you're just starting out, probably best shot, shoot some b-roll, shoot some just
Yeah.
if you think you got it, shoot another take of that, all that stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and to be fair, I think it's a balance. You know, like I said, I don't think that over coverage as a rule is necessarily a good idea. Like, it doesn't make for a good production and it doesn't make for a good product just to do a billion takes, because you can
Yeah.
get
Or
2
shots.
awesome takes. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get like 2 awesome shots and you're great, right? And that's literally enough. That's perfect. So it's a balance. It's just more what the situation needs. The point is, I would always err on, if there's doubt, like you're saying, if there's complication, a little bit extra coverage is always better than a little bit less than the coverage that you need.
Mhm.
But ideally, because of the pre-production and all the other preparation you've done, like, you're hitting out bangers, and it doesn't really, like, you don't need 20 shots to get the right one.
So then, Jeff, you never feel like you're ever inundated with too much footage?
It is hard when you're both doing the AE work and you're the
What's
editor.
AE work? Sorry. I don't know.
Assistant editing.
Okay.
So like, because there's the initial post-production stage of needing to process the footage, categorize it, break it apart, and make sure that shots are good and everything lines up, and all that stuff's just grunt work, really.
Okay.
And that's before. That's so the editor can do the creative work. And if you don't have an AE, like on a really small indie short, sometimes there's just an editor doing all of it. And that stage sucks when you're doing all of it and there's a lot of footage and there's a lot of material. But
Yeah.
ideally, you're not sorting through a lot of garbage. And if you have any help, that's great. But in like the indie short world, that's super rare unless they're extremely well funded. So you can have too much, but ideally it's planned so well they didn't need like 50 takes per individual scene.
Yeah. And I will say, like, for the short story I'm working on, to what Aaliyah's saying, where I try to keep everything precise, where I thought I hammered it out very well. And it was like, okay, I'm going to do this shot for this scene, and then I'm going to cut to this shot next. And I really planned it out within the pre production, wrote a shot script. I knew the edit in my head perfectly. But then being as inexperienced as I am, and maybe this is a tip for anyone else who's, starting out, is that it's nice to have that extra coverage because now that I'm in the editing stage, it's like, God damn it, Steven, why didn't you just get a little bit extra of the scene or just play the scene out better so that now in the editing stage I can grab it and then use it. And what I've noticed within my edit is I'm kind of compressing scenes. I'm creating fake scenes that weren't originally written or directed and kind of compressing it into a more streamlined version of the scene. And so I'm kind of morphing two different shots there. And yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot easier if I wasn't trying to be so precise in where I thought the cut should be. If I just would have let it play out in full, gotten that extra coverage, I think I would have made my life a hell of a lot easier right now.
All right, not to
So you mean
jump in on anyone. How's
so
everyone
you
doing on
mean what
time?
I gotta go soon, but I'm very curious. Like, what do you mean by that? You precise? You mean you didn't run the full scene in the shot? You just cut it and
Yeah,
then
well,
didn't get.
Well, what I would say is when I wrote it initially, I knew where the cuts were because I'm visualizing the cuts as I'm writing. And when I write, I tend to write the shot script as opposed to just a script. I know where I want the beats, where I want the cuts to happen.
Yeah.
However, this is just in my head and going off of what's there. Then when I get into the editing stage, it's like, oh God, Steven, that was a bad idea to get to at all. You should have just played the scene out in full with shot A and then shot B and just play those out in full. That way you can grab and pull however you need and play with it in the editing room, as opposed to being, okay, well, we designed it this way initially, we shot it this way initially, and now I'm forced into doing that, and it's not really playing out as well within the edit.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So, Aaliyah, you're running out of time. We don't want to keep you too long.
Oh, thank you.
Tom. Mike also is on the East Coast, so we don't want to make him stay here.
I mean,
too long.
I'm good.
All right, Aaliyah, get out of here. You're done with us. Get out of here.
All right. Bye. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No, Aaliyah, we're not saying leave. I'm saying stay.
No.
Hold on. Give me a few more minutes.
Aaliyah,
I was so ready.
just two things.
I was so ready.
One, please send me your short film. If
Of
you can
course,
send me a copy, I'd
sure.
love to see it. And two, your dog and I are friends now. So just FYI.
Her name is Phoebe.
Aw,
Because I'm a
Phoebe.
Monica and she's my Phoebe.
perfect.
Thank
that's
you. You guys, you have a nice year ahead of us, I think.
Yeah, it was really nice meeting you,
hopefully.
and I
Yeah.
would definitely be into checking out your short film and reviewing it. And
Thank you. Yeah, everything is like all my whole life is on Instagram. I think that's the best way to reach me if anyone wants to. That's where I stay active mostly. Not Twitter.
So what's your
Facebook.
Instagram then?
It's AliaAzamat. Alia Azamat. That's it. I'm probably going to be the first Alia A that's going to come out anyway, so you don't have to type it fully.
All right,
Thank you,
yeah.
Aaliyah,
All
for
right.
hanging out
So
with
much.
us. It's been a
For
pleasure.
hanging out.
Phoebe says bye as well.
Oh, Phoebe.
Yeah.
Bye, Phoebe.
Bye, Phoebe.
Bye,
All
Phoebe.
right.
Hey, she looked
Bye,
at
you
the camera.
guys.
What a smile.
Aw. Next time,
Aw,
dog
there we-
podcast.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I could have. If I knew that was the rule, I would have brought Murphy in here. He has a great dog smile.
Hey, just throw the dog at the screen, by all means.
All right. So how's everybody doing? We're at the hour and a half mark.
Doing pretty good. Buddy,
good.
did you do anything special for this at all?
Oh, do you mean did I write a script?
Yeah, I mean Aaliyah left before I
Yeah, I did, but We could do it, I guess. I wrote 5 characters.
We should do it. Well, I mean, all we need is
men,
how
right?
many of this are we? 4?
We just need men.
We got yeah, this is a man's only podcast now. We got the women out of here. You know, we're taking it back.
We're gonna eat some raw meat and grunt.
But yeah, so I don't think Aaliyah has seen Vampire's Kiss. So Mike, you've seen Vampire's Kiss. Jeff, have you seen Vampire's Kiss?
Yeah, Mike, I gotta admit,
yes, but it's been a long time.
Okay.
I think I saw that movie. It took me two viewings to watch that movie because the first time I fell asleep.
What?
And when I watched it, I was like, "What the fuck is this bullshit?" Because I mean, I saw it, and I was expecting, Nick Cage now, right? Just crazy Nicolas Cage going off the handles. And so I was like, "What the fuck is it? He's young. This is in the 90s. It wasn't he like super respected? What the fuck am I watching?" And then I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna watch it again because I want to watch it again." And my God, once we got to the 3/4 mark of the film, Act 3, the beginning of Act 3, I'm just like, oh my God, it's all making sense now. It's all making sense. And then, of course, at the end of it, it just completely ties in. And it's just, I was telling Tom, I was like, you know what? I think this might be a masterpiece movie. Literally, I think it's a masterpiece.
So I
sincerely.
have this like weird little connection with this movie. So do you remember the girl that gets killed in the film
at the club?
That's
yeah.
So that is so that you guys know who Larry Cohen is, of course.
Yeah,
right?
I do. I love Larry Cohen.
Yeah.
So that's his daughter in that scene.
Oh.
So for my book, I interviewed Larry Cohen, and he was awesome and gave me the most amazing interview. And then I interviewed her because I had planned on, including like this like anecdote with her getting sucked on by Nicolas Cage. And, we had this like really surreal, like her and I had this like really surreal, like maybe hour and a half talk. And she talked like maybe 5 or 10 minutes about the movie, but like the rest was just everything else. But yeah, she was really a character for sure. But yeah, God, that movie's so good. God, it's so batshit crazy.
Yes, I agree. It is absolutely insane. Jeff, I highly recommend you seek it out and watch it again.
I want to now.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, and
I love wacky Nicolas Cage though.
Yeah, it's just capital. This is a Top Gear, amazing Nick Cage.
Like when he jumps on the desk, that is, name me a better scene.
I will. Wait. I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
That whole movie is just filled with great scenes.
Well, I gotta admit, man, that teeth scene, man, God, that scene with the teeth when he,
the famous one, the one that's like a
he
meme.
puts the fake teeth in his.
But no, it's the fact where he's looking at the teeth and he sees these nice like porcelain vampire teeth, and he's like, "Oh yes, that's what I want." And then the guy tells him the price. He's like, "Oh, well, you got something a little cheaper." And then it's just a cheesy plastic vampire teeth. I mean, at that moment, I was just sold. I was like, "Okay, you got me."
Yeah,
you got me. You
chasing pigeons around in these really fake fangs.
Yeah,
there's your trailer. That's all you need to know.
The couch coffin. A big fan of the couch coffin. Yeah, so everyone out there, go and watch Vampire's Kiss. You have to stick through it. That's the whole thing I'll say.
You gotta put in the time.
Put in the time.
And
and it's poignant. The film's poignant. That's the craziest thing, is that the film's an extremely poignant film, because as you go through it and as you get to the end, it's just like, oh my God, this is how we view mental health in our society. And the sad thing is, nothing's really changed, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how, so this is my film, I covered that movie in my film guide, of course, but like, I was kind of like, wasn't like sure what genre to put it in, because I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's, I mean, it's funny. It's meant to be funny. It's kind of unintentionally funny. But, I mean, at the heart of it, it is like a drama. I mean, it's definitely like your heart breaks for this guy.
Yeah. Well, does it?
So,
I mean, I don't know if my heart necessarily broke for him because he was an asshole, right? To Maria Conchito Consuela. I mean, he was an asshole, but yeah, you make a really good point because where do you put this film? It's one of those films where it's like, how do you classify it? Who is it for? What's the demographic? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
and it's a
certainly
serious
something to watch.
drama. And it's destined for literally everyone.
Right. It's like, this is an extremely
it's
serious,
the human story,
film.
Really. It's the human story. It's like
is.
The tree of life of Nicolas Cage films.
That's saying something.
And it's really...
I'll be right back.
Yes. It is the tree of life for Nicolas Cage.
No, I mean, and it's a really kind of fascinating look at like late 80s, early 90s, like the boys club. I think that was like a theme that they kind of hit upon of like the, just rampant sexism at the office.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it like accurately shines a spotlight on it, which is an interesting thing, it's aware of the movie. It's strange because at times I wonder if the movie is aware of what it's doing, the filmmakers and what they're doing. But then at other times it's completely self-aware. And then that's where the genius comes in, because even watching it, Nicolas Cage has this really weird accent throughout of it. And I'm like, what the fuck is this act? This reminds me of Keanu Reeves from Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's like,
oh my God, yes.
Going on? Right? But then at the end, he's saying like he grew up in Philadelphia and he went from Philadelphia to New York. And that's all those are the only places he's ever been. And then it shines that spotlight. It's like, oh my God, his accent's fake. That's why his accent is the way it is, because it's a fake accent this entire time.
It's a double fake.
So
it is.
It's really interesting. Like the Blu-ray has the commentary on it, which is I highly recommend. It's Nick Cage and the director talking, and he said that his father had this kind of accent or affectation that he would use, and he tried to kind of to emulate that. So it was like a weird tribute to his dad. I mean, I don't know, but it's I mean, when you watch it with like in that context, I guess it kind of makes a little more sense. But I mean, I don't think
it made sense to me watching it once he said he's from Philadelphia and he's only been from Philadelphia to New York. It was like, oh, okay, this is adding layers to his character and who he's trying to be, right? Because throughout it, I don't know if you all felt this, but it always felt like Nicolas Cage was never portraying his character's true self. It was always portraying a persona of who he was supposed to be.
Like he's putting on like this performance, basically. Not performance in the movie, but like a performance, as him going through his everyday life. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it would make a really good double feature with American Psycho.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you watch that double feature. Which one do you watch first?
Oh, I don't know. I think you gotta do Vampire's Kiss first. Like do like the real late 80s movie, and then
the
do
real
like
80s movies, right?
Yeah. But
wait, are you talking about that and American Psycho?
Yeah.
Okay. The correct, so you watch Vampire's Kiss and then you watch American Psycho and then you watch Batman Begins because Patrick Bateman is Bruce Wayne. And that's the right trajectory.
Oh my God, that's so twisted, right? The Batman's the real villain.
I mean, is Patrick Bateman not fucking Bruce Wayne?
He eventually becomes Bruce Wayne.
He 100% is. And that is a way more realistic trajectory for like millionaires, really.
Yes. If anything now that we've seen, right?
You leave them to their own devices. Like what? Is Elon Musk like solving crimes? Probably not.
I have a
right.
I would
But
say
like, is he softcore murdering people on the regular?
I was gonna
Maybe.
say there's better chance of him throwing a chainsaw down a stairwell than becoming Batman.
Yep. He literally said that like, oh, well, if we go to Mars, SpaceX, we're going to be outside American jurisdiction. I don't want laws. I'm like, yeah, yes.
Well,
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
He doesn't want
it's
laws
kinda
because he's so
bullshit when
highly
countries
evolved. Okay, everybody. He's on a new plane of existence.
he's on a new planet, bro.
With his child, THX1138 or whatever.
You know, I haven't seen that movie. I've never seen that movie.
It's fun. I don't know.
Would that
not
be on your
fantastic.
recommendations there, Mike?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's definitely interesting to see pre-Star Wars George Lucas and what he could have done if he didn't get trapped in Star Wars land forever.
Yeah, isn't George Lucas a bit of a tragedy because there's THX and then there's American Graffiti, which I like a lot, and of course Star Wars.
It's really good.
Right? I mean, George Lucas was I shouldn't say, man, maybe that's a bad way to say it, but George Lucas.
He has always been a talented gentleman.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. You speak more eloquently.
got
He got
you.
drowned by a
Thank you.
franchise.
Well, no, so-
right, he got drowned by success, or whatever the saying is. Crippled by success.
Yeah.
Isn't there a saying along those lines?
Tell me, Master
Yes,
Miyagi.
I'll tell you. He waxed on too hard.
He got hamstrung by success.
Yeah, remember Mr. Miyagi would say, walk road left side safe, walk road right side safe, walk middle just like grape. That's what Mr. Miyagi would say. Fucking George Lucas, just like grape.
Oh,
This is where we're getting into the drunk section. Of the,
but I wanted to get
podcast
into.
here, 'cause-
I wanted to ask.
hey, I'm working on catching up.
Hey, are
Speaking
you
of,
drinking, Jeff? All I see is
I am.
Bong
check
Joon
this
Ho
out.
in the background in your hand there. I can't actually see
No,
the
this is
drink.
this is Lagunitas Maximus IPA.
yummy.
Okay. I'm drinking. I don't know what I'm drinking. It's.
I'm like,
Scotch.
if I'm like this, I'm like, no, this is completely. I'm sober,
I'm
Jeff.
drinking
No, I'm
air.
not.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh my
whoa.
god, it's magic.
Hey, and isn't that a metaphor? What is it? An allegory? And what is that?
That is
What
the
do you call
allegory
those?
of the cave.
Oh my God! There's a
That's what Plato
Korean
intended.
woman behind you.
Oh my
no!
god!
Oh my
She's
God.
in the house.
That was some Dark and the Wicked shit. That scared the hell out of me, honestly.
It's in the house.
So we got a question from the audience, and the audience wants to know from Jeff and Mike, what's the best movie to come out in the past 5 years?
Parasite
Wow.
done.
Oh. I mean, that's
That's possibly
fair
Parasite.
to my.
What 2015? What came out in 2015? Do you guys know?
Shit. Let me just think about this for a second.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
look
Parasite's
it up,
a
'cause-
really good choice.
Yeah,
for
Parasite's
me,
like a
but,
clear winner, right?
Mike,
Mike-
I also really love Shape of Water. I really did.
Yeah.
Like, I got that movie.
Yeah,
Mike,
Yeah,
but-
you know,
You're an expert here, Mike. So
I don't know about that. No, I mean, last 5 years, I mean, definitely, I'll echo Shape of Water. That's such a great film. I'm a huge Guillermo del Toro fan.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
the fact that movie even got made is kind of mind blowing.
that's true. Yeah, that's
You
You
very
can
know,
hear us talk
yeah,
all
I
about it
Fish
on
fucking.
Jeff's
Who makes a
podcast.
movie on that? You know.
Yup. Absolutely. Obviously, it's Green Book.
Oh shit, you're right. Green Book.
Okay, thank
easily
you, Jeff,
the best
for laughing.
movie.
Because I was gonna be like, oh God, I need to go in that basement.
I would get fired if that were my Forbes would be like, you don't know anything about movies.
Okay, I'm glad
Oh.
Forbes also agrees with that. Thank God.
Have you guys seen
Jesus.
Housebound? That came out in
I
2015.
love Housebound.
I
That
haven't
movie's
even heard of
awesome.
it. I haven't even heard of it.
That is such an excellent movie that
It's so much better than it should be, and nobody talks about it.
nobody talks about it. Yeah,
But it changes genre every 15 minutes, and it's so good.
Housebound. Okay.
Or I wouldn't
gonna-
say that
it's on my
necessarily
watch
changes
list.
genre. It changes what you think, subgenre, what you think the movie
Yeah.
is, changes every 15 minutes.
Vampire's
and
Kiss.
it just evolves, and it's so cool.
Okay. Housebound. That's something I'll check out. I'll write that down.
yeah. That's definitely one that Green Room was excellent.
Very,
Green
very
Room.
good.
Yeah, Green Room
Mad
was
love
pretty
Max
Green
Fury
solid.
Road was
Yeah.
an amazing
Yeah.
There you
film.
go, Mad Max. Yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. I wasn't a big fan necessarily because for me it was just a little too minimalist in a sense, story wise. But I mean, I
Okay.
think a lot of people would consider Mad Max Fury Road, one of the best movies of the decade. Without
I mean,
a doubt.
it's an action film, yes, but it's a very good one.
Exactly,
And it
it's,
has
it's
like
perfectly
excellent pacing. It's
tuned, right?
cinematic.
Yeah.
I also really loved Arrival. Was an awesome film.
Arrival
Yeah.
was pretty
Like
good.
I was gonna
I'd say
say-
maybe that was my third favorite in the last 5 years. maybe.
Sicario also came out 2015.
Oh, Sicario.
Mhm.
I can watch Sicario any time of day. That
It's very good.
Deacon's
And I don't normally like movies like
cinematography.
Sicario, but it's beautiful and it's so
Yeah.
well structured that I actually
Well,
dig it.
that writer is so goddamn good.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
forget his name, but I was on a kick for him. Was La La Land within the past
Yes.
5 years?
Yeah.
2016.
La La Land and Moonlight are both amazing.
Moonlight is one of the most romantic fucking movies of the last
Moonlight?
yeah.
Is that the one with the that one Best Picture
Yeah.
over La La Land?
Yep.
I like First Man.
I loved First Man. That movie.
I went to the moon with First Man.
Literally, yeah. I think I stood up out of my seat. One of the only movies that's ever made me move physically.
What else?
Oh,
a
that's
marriage story really stood out to me, because the writing was just so excellent.
I feel like the writing-
Mandy
Like
Oh,
and Roma.
yeah.
Mandy, yeah.
Roma.
Yeah.
Fucking love
I wasn't
Roma.
a big fan of Roma.
That's because that was your
Mandy for
childhood,
sure.
bro.
I know. I was like, no, I want tacos.
Have you guys seen Neon Demon? That's excellent.
Yeah,
I liked
liked
Neon
I liked the
Demon.
Neon Demon.
Yeah. I need to watch it again because I didn't watch it since I first saw it, but I liked it though. The visuals were cool. It was very novel.
That I got to see in the big screen. It was just
Cool.
my friend and I.
Oh,
and
wow.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I imagine you two must have been the only ones in the
Yeah,
theater.
yeah. But it was like, when that rare time when you have the theater all to
No,
yourself.
yeah.
It was
Oh.
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, where I live, if you're anything outside of Marvel, you're gonna have a theater to yourself.
Yeah, we went to see
So-
Phantom Thread, and it was 3 of us.
It was us, yeah.
And
Although I gotta admit, Phantom Thread,
I love
Tom loves
Phantom
it.
Thread. Loved it.
I wasn't a big fan, but have you guys seen In
Thank you.
Fabric?
Which one?
No, I haven't
I
seen
need to
it.
see that one.
In
Like
Fabric.
God.
I haven't caught it yet, but I really have intended to.
In
It's so
Fabric.
good.
Is that what it's?
A movie
Yeah.
that we need to
I just
talk
want-
about. I don't know if you guys
I
have
write
seen
down
it.
any movie you put down. I gotta get your book, man, because
I
Oh,
saw
thanks.
you sold me with Vampire's Kiss. I gotta admit.
I'll-
Because
Mike
knows
stuff.
Tom was
He
like,
was-
"Watch this movie," and I was like, "This is the stupidest shit
No, okay,
I've
so
ever seen in my life."
my podcast, my first episodes, I was so choosy on guests because I'm like, I know tons of awesome people, but they need to be the right people.
Of
And
course.
Tom and Mike graced my second episode because they're awesome, and that's
And
a
you know what?
fucking
I'll
fact.
say, Jeff, I've listened to every podcast thus far. So there you go. You've
Thank
had
you,
some great
man.
choices. I
I
really
really
enjoyed
appreciate
the
that.
Final Destination one.
Yeah,
Because when the writer was talking about how it was a X-Files pitch,
yeah,
oh my god, dude, I just started brainstorming fan fiction of Mulder and Scully doing Final Destination. And it was like the coolest story ever, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Final Destination, I think is a very solid, great movie. It's one of the best horror stories, I think, within the time span of it. But god damn, an X-Files story with Mulder
no,
and Scully for Final Destination? How
yeah.
cool would that
the
be?
idea is so
How
good,
cool.
and I was so happy because he was awesome. Like how
Yes.
that happened was
Great
so on
episode,
Halloween.
by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, like I felt so lucky because so I was watching one of the Final Destinations. I think it was the first one. We were rewatching it with my lady on Halloween, and I tweeted that I was watching that movie because it was one that it was one of the first films I remember in my teen years just really clicking with in horror, you know? So I love the first Final Destination movie.
Oh yeah,
And I
loved it
tweeted
too.
that. It's so
I
good.
think
Not
I
to steal
snuck
your
into it
thunder,
with
but
my
mine's
dad.
Jeepers Creepers.
Yes, Jeepers Creepers. But
does not
Final
hold up as well,
Destination,
but
I gotta admit, Final Destination with that opening scene in the airplane, like
it's good.
that was like, I mean, you felt it, right?
You
was
do,
like,
like-
oh my god, you felt like it really happened, and you were just, it hit something visceral.
Yeah,
It just hit something
and
very
I remember
visceral.
every kill, like, and it's just such a good concept, and they executed
Yes.
it with so much love. And so I tweeted out that I was watching it, and then Jeffrey Reddick already followed me, I think, and I followed him from some earlier time, and he commented on it, and then I messaged him over Twitter. I was like, hey. I'd love, because it's one of the few franchises around like death as an entity, which is a super cool concept. And we had that with the Reaper and everything. And so I asked him if he'd be on the show. Yes, exactly. Right. And so I thought, and like Bogus Journey, you know, and so like I thought, well, it would be so cool to have him on the show. And he was happy to do it. He was such a great guest. And it was just like hanging out.
He really was. I mean, it was a really good episode. I love when Mike's on there. Because Mike always has just these in-depth, interesting perspectives. Where
that's
Mike,
way more generous than.
No, you do.
No, man, I love
where
having
it's
you
like,
on.
It's like this is someone who really cares, and they're viewing it from a perspective of consideration. It's not just generic questions. So I really enjoy when you're on there, Mike.
Oh, thanks.
Mike knows all the movies. And Mike, I'm waiting for some recommendations because after Vampire's Kiss, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm always down for like, it just depends on what you're in the mood for. Like some
honestly,
newer...
well, there was that Pink Angels that you mentioned on our podcast.
Gosh, yes.
And I'm very interested to watch that. I'm very interested. I don't know if Tom is, but
I definitely
absolutely want to check that out.
Have you?
Because the way you described it, it was like, okay, I saw Vampire's Kiss, Pink Angels. I'm open.
Like, I mean, Pink Angels is like I mean, I've never been like. So you watch a movie and you're like, okay, yeah, I know exactly who this is geared towards. I know the audience.
That's how I was with Vampire's Kiss. So that's my perspective. Okay, I am sure you're more versed than I am.
But like Pink Angels is like, it's not for anybody, but it's still so. Yeah. I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's entertaining. It's like a car wreck.
I don't know. Mike, the way you described Pink Angels, because you know, I edit the podcast, so I listen to everything we talk about over again. So, you know, it just re-enhances things for me. And after listening to you describe Pink Angels, like, shit, man. Because I was listening to Vampire's Kiss, and I was like, whatever. And then I had seen it, and then I was going over the editing process. And then when I heard you talk about Pink Angels, I was like, okay, I think I got to watch Pink Angels. This sounds pretty awesome to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those oddities that it's like, I was trying so hard to actually track down some of the filmmakers or actors or anybody that could tell me like that was actually involved with the film, because it is like so baffling. Like, it's not geared towards bikers. It's not geared towards, you know, LGBT, because it's a little yikes. But then, I mean, it's not a comedy, but it's not a satire either. It's like, it's for nobody.
Well, I gotta admit, you know, when Tom and I release our film, Deadhead, I think you might enjoy it. It honestly might make your list. I'll just
but Steven's drunk.
I'm drunk, but honestly, I've seen the rough cuts of our film.
Yeah, I made them. But I wanted to talk, because I was, while you guys were talking, I was looking at the movies from the last 5 years, and there's one movie that I looked and that stood out, and I want to talk about, because I think it's if you like this movie, you're in good with me and Steven, and that's Black Coat's Daughter.
Oh, that movie owns. That movie's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys see
that film.
Did you guys see Hansel and Gretel?
I did.
Yeah. That was actually the last movie that I saw before lockdown, like in theaters.
Yeah. Okay. It was one of the last. The last one I saw was Invisible Man. But then I also saw
nice.
Hansel and Gretel 2 in theaters.
Yeah,
The last one I think I saw was
Come and See that's the last one I saw with you when we went to see Come and See.
Interesting.
Yeah, literally,
Trippy.
that might have been the last one. But other than that, like recent might have been Hansel and Gretel.
I had this really interestingly like creepy experience with Invisible Man, which was really fun.
What did an invisible man do to you?
Did you accidentally sit on something exciting?
It was like,
it's true. This is Los Angeles. What happens in Los Angeles stays in Vegas. No, so okay. What happened was I saw the film. We had a great audience. It was really fun, and I saw it in this like IMAX theater. So there's like this ground floor exit and this upper level exit. So I took the upper level exit because I was on the upper level, you know? And then it went through the series of doors that were all locked leading to other theaters. Just kept going in this isolated hallway that looked like it hadn't been updated since like 1970. And then I there's this door at the end of the hallway and I enter it and I can't leave, right? And so I get into this weird like cementy area that has no other exits, and I'm going down this like circular stairway, and this is like a part of the theater I feel like I'm not supposed to see. And I can see like around this angle that there's like some legs sticking out of like a dude sleeping, and this like cell phone goes off, and I'm like, you know how like creepy cell phones are in Invisible Man, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, I am in this dead fucking silent, lost to time part of this theater complex that I'm definitely not supposed to be in at this point. And it's just me and this random dude I can't see, which is fucking weird. So like, yeah, I ended up like getting out through the alley, but it was just like, it's, I don't know. It was like a really weird, creepy end to like a scary film that I'm like, oh, good touch, AMC.
Yeah, that
sounds
sounds
that about you.
That's what when we talk about theater experiences, that's what I'm talking about, right? Is stuff like this. Like
I would do that again.
Yeah.
So this
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say this kind of reminds me. Have you guys ever seen the movie Body Bags? It was like that anthology.
Yes.
Like John Carpenter did one of them.
I just watched it last weekend. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That's right. So I had this, and I think I'm trying to think if I told Tom or Jeff this, but I had this really cool experience where, so I used to work at like a gas station overnight, and it was like a gas station convenience store situation. So I would work overnights, like the really creepy graveyard shift. But it would be like so dead. So I like the last night of my overnight, I took my laptop. I brought Body Bags. I think the Blu-ray just came out, and I watched it for the first time on my shift. And you know, it has that segment of like the creepy convenience store gas station thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I mean, it was extra kind of creepy, you know, because I was kind of in that situation.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. Yeah, I
so
get that.
That made me think of your.
Yeah, because it was so weird because there was like a dude sleeping in this area that shouldn't even be accessible, and that's just kind of creepy. And his cell phone goes off, and that was a big thing in the movie. So I did like my brain. I'm like, Jeff, you've seen so many fucking horror movies. Think your way through this. And there were like stairs going in opposite directions, you know? And I thought, oh, if I just go around here and take the opposite direction stairs, then I'll have the tactical advantage and I'll be able to see this guy before he sees me. And so I did that, and it freaked him the fuck out because he didn't expect there to be a person like in this area. He was just sleeping, and he like got up and just was like this the entire time. And I just like waved and then left.
Okay.
Like, hey.
Wait. Was he an employee of the theater?
He was. I don't think so. I think he snuck his way in somehow and was sleeping. Some random dude sleeping in this random part of the AMC, which is sad, and also it was a weird experience.
I mean, if I had to live somewhere, I'd want to live in a movie theater.
That's not a shitty idea, really. I wish he had better access to it, because I know from personal experience that a lot of shit was locked off to him, which is unfortunate, but it's a comfortable place. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Are we gonna read your script, buddy?
Oh, I didn't finish it. It's to be continued.
What?
I started
is
writing
it at least to be continued at a good spot?
Kinda, yeah.
Well, then there we go.
I only had an hour to write it this morning, and
I got my own dog right here.
oh, more
Aw.
puppies.
Yeah, he was scratching at the door because he missed me. And he's the best dog in the universe.
All right. So this is, since you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever listened to our podcast before, but there are some reoccurring stories.
Oh, is this a reoccurring story?
This is so for a New Year's episode that we did 2 years ago. I wrote "The Den of Incredibly Inept Villains." Which
so
is
we did reprise that.
the crappy,
and then Aaliyah had to leave us, huh? God.
and it's like the crappy Justice League for villains. And this is the sequel to that.
It's doing sequels. What's next? A remake?
You can remake it. So there's 5 characters because there was going to be 5 of us. So
who's gonna be Aaliyah?
Murphy's going to be Brad Pitt.
okay, Brad Pitt is in the script.
I can see that.
Okay, and then there's Hair Girl, who grows her hair. Old Whistle, who's a character from the last time. Roach, who is also a re-featured character from another episode we did. You remember Roach, right, buddy?
Oh, I do. The people that we get to read these scripts, it's surprising.
And Mole Man. Not quite a mole, not quite a man.
I will be all characters.
All right.
There you go. I want to hear that.
It's funny. It reminds me like back when I did like high school drama.
Okay.
We had this we did these like short little scenes, and I had this group one time that were supposed to do Saving Private Ryan because we were doing like scenes from movies. And so my contribution to the group was I was like, okay, I will be the entire German army. And so it's just a bunch of me running up from different angles, dying violently, and then coming back as different soldiers dying violently from different angles. And that was the entire thing. And all I contributed the whole time. And I loved it.
So wait, my understanding is you're going to do all the characters, Jeff?
Yes.
Totally. And by me, I mean Mike.
No.
Mike was great in the script that we read.
Mike is an actor, so he has a lot of. He's like on the level of Nicolas Cage.
We need to let Murphy do everything because he has the screen charisma.
Yes,
you can tell.
I don't know. See, I want to see Jeff do just everything.
Well, we got to make.
We got to have our turns too.
Well, one of us could read action. Steven, you want to be the old whistle?
The old whistle? Sure.
Okay, and then Jeff, you're everyone else, and I'll read action. How does that sound?
Wait, what about Mike? He's got to be in this too. What are you talking about, dude?
Mike, who do you want to be?
I think Mike is a bit of a Brad Pitt. That's all I gotta say.
Mike
is a little bit of Brad Pitt.
I was gonna just stand back, give my critiques afterwards.
No, Mike, you're definitely Brad Pitt.
Okay,
I
Mike's
think
Brad
Mike has to be
Pitt,
Brad
and
Pitt.
then Jeff, you're everyone else. You're Hair Girl, Roach, and
everyone
Mole Man.
else. You wrote this for 5 people. We're only missing 1.
I think that we could distribute this a little more evenly. Come to think.
Okay, then, should I be Hair Girl?
Yes.
Okay. I'll play Aaliyah's character. I mean, not that she had to pick the girl character. She could have been any of them. I want to put that out there.
This is 2021.
I feel like she would have been Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
No, Mike's Brad Pitt. Tom could be. I'm Old Whistle. Tom could be.
I did voice Roach.
Tom is definitely Mole Man.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I am Mole Man. I vision myself as Mole Man.
So then there's also Hair Girl and Roach.
I'll definitely be Hair Girl.
Yeah, Jeff is Hair
so
Girl
what about
and Roach. Roach is a human. Is a human-sized cockroach that's addicted to crack.
Oh, so what? Wait, I feel like you're typecasting me.
Well, you're hair girl as well. So
Okay, so like a little bit of diversity that I can do.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we try to keep it open here. We're all accepting in Twitch Shadows podcast. We do not discriminate.
All right, so we'll get this started.
Wait, who's doing the action?
I'll read the action.
Okay. Read it like you mean it.
The Den of Incredibly Inept Villains, Part 2. Fade in. Interior, Den of Villains. The Den has been quiet for months after defeat of Confidence Man. Old Whistle remains in the group as the other villains have all died in some horrific way. Old Whistle has managed to recruit a new set of villains to continue in his effort of mildly annoying the local citizens.
I called together the first meeting of the new Den of Villains after our successful defeat of my son, that asshole Confidence Man. The others all accidentally killed themselves. So I bring you here today. Let's introduce ourselves.
Sitting to Old Whistle's right is Hair Girl. She is completely naked except for the long hair covering her entire body.
No wonder Alia left.
Hello, everyone.
Oh,
My name is
God, Hair
Hair
Girl.
I grow hair everywhere.
Hair Girl cannot take her eyes off an unexpected member of the Den.
Hi, I am Brad Pitt.
What?
Old Whistle said I had to join. When I heard about the cheap vodka, I figured, why not?
Brad Pitt pours himself a cup of vodka from the plastic bottle lined in a row on the table in front of them.
Really? Brad Pitt? Wow.
That's right. Hair Girl, thank you for that. Lay off the cigarettes there. All right, let's not forget our most curious member, Mr. Roach. Your turn.
Positioned between Brad Pitt and Hair Girl is Roach, a giant man-sized roach.
Just Roach, thank you. Roach also fills the vodka. Damn, this cheap shit hits the spot. Thanks, old man.
Well, I'll say I stole those from the old local 7-Eleven. Drink up. We should have one more guest joining us.
Before Old Whistle can finish his statement, the room begins to shake and a crack opens on the floor. A short and fat, mole-looking man crawls up and out, sitting in the empty chair next to Old Whistle. Apologies for my lateness. I dug out your neighbor's pipes on the way over. Water everywhere.
Oh, I thought you had pissed yourself.
I did. Everyone scoots a little bit away from Mole Man.
You better not get any of that bee on my hair.
Hey, Sasquatch lady, calm your hairy tits.
It's Hair Girl, and I am a Sasquatch.
The group looks at each other. Oh.
Shit, that's nasty.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Hair Girl blushes, causing her beard to grow an extra 2 inches.
All right. Well, enough. Let's get down to business. Since my last group all mysteriously died, I needed to form a new group so we can continue villainous work.
What did you have in mind?
Old Whistle pulls out a set of blueprints. The building is shaped like a flaccid penis.
We blow up Dick Tower.
Dick Towers? Isn't that filled with Mighty League of Justice?
Exactly. And that's why we need to kill them. I suspect their members are the ones that killed my old crew. And I demand vengeance.
Hey, Brad, you remember how to blow up buildings? You did it in Fight Club.
Well, that was a movie ranch. A roach.
True, Ed Norton was way better than you anyway. Hey, why didn't we recruit him anyway?
Hair Girl.
Oh. Line. No.
Shut up, Roach. Don't talk about Brad like that.
Quiet, trying to hear the plan. Old Whistle slams a shot of the cheap vodka.
It's simpler, really. Roach and Moleman will burrow under the building. Moleman will tunnel under and Roach will Tom is editing as I speak. And Mole Man will tunnel under, and Roach will plant explosions under the tower.
And what do I do?
You will enter the lobby and start taking selfies with people, keeping them in the building.
But won't it eventually blow up?
Sacrifices will have to be made.
Brad starts to squirm in his seat, chugging back the cheap vodka.
We can't seriously be thinking of killing Brad. He's so handsome.
Oh, thanks, hair girl. Wait. Yeah, you can't kill me. I'm famous.
Brad bolts for the door. Mole Man grabs his leg, causing him to crash into the door, knocking him unconscious.
Hey, leave Brad alone.
Hair Girl leaps over the table, landing on Mole Man. She controls her hair and turns him into sharp needles, stabbing Mole Man in the face. Blood squirts everywhere.
This is quite interesting.
I face you, hairy motherfucker! Mole Man throws her off of him onto the table. Hair Girl grows back hair, landing on it like a cushion.
This is some crazy shit.
Okay, enough.
Not sure what is really going on here. I just know I need to pee.
Mole Man wipes the blood off his face. Tiny holes beat up with the blood immediately after.
Let's come up with a plan that keeps Brad alive. God, you all act like children.
I was fine with the plan. Let the pretty boy die. Norton was better anyway.
We all know Norton was better.
Everyone sharply looks over at Hair Girl, who has retaken.
No, he wasn't.
Now, both of you apologize. And Roach, would you be so kind as to put Brad back in his seat?
Roach grunts, chugging the last of his vodka and skittering over to Brad, pulling him into his seat, which he immediately falls out of while being unconscious.
Man, he smells like fucking Mole Man's piss.
Roach pulls out some Ajax and does a line of it off the table.
Damn, that's some good shit. So, hairy lady, you want to go?
No. And it's Hair Girl.
We need to come out with another plan. This is our big break. We could get some serious sponsorships from tobacco or firearm companies with a stunt like blowing up Dick Tower.
Exactly. We could afford a proper bottle of vodka.
I like this stuff. It's almost toxic.
I have a question. Blowing up Dick Tower even kill the heroes inside.
You know what? Hair Girl, I gotta admit, who cares? Let's do it anyways.
Brad starts to wake up. Hey there, Legend of Bagger Vance. Brad
Hey,
sits
that
back
was Matt
down.
Damon, asshole.
Sure, I thought it was your bitch ass.
100% Damon and Will Smith. He was Legends of the Fall.
I loved that movie.
Of course you do, Yeti.
Hey, everybody, look. I don't want to die, please.
Well, since you all said please, guess I will agree. Okay, we're not sending you into your death.
Oh, good. Now I can have some more vodka.
I drank all of it. Want to snort some jacks with me?
When in Rome.
All right, that's all I got to be continued.
Wow, that was a quality script. I think Mike might review that.
And the Oscar goes to...
Let me ask you, Mike, with all the movies you review, where would that script rank within the movies you do review?
Oh gosh, it's got to be right up there with like The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Goddamn, Tom, you fucking genius.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like French Connection, and you have this. I mean,
I taught that asshole everything he knows. That's why The Exorcist was so good.
All right, you fine folks. Well, I have to kick it.
All
Well,
right,
I think we all
I think we're
else have to
wrapping it
kick
up. So let's do
thank you.
our plugs and shout outs. Jeff, you want to go first?
Sure. You can find me personally on Twitter at Real Jeff Ewing, at Real Jeff Ewing with REEL. And then you can find my podcast at HFT Deep Dive. That's Humanoids of the Deep Dive. We're on iTunes, Google Podbean, and Google Podcasts.
Awesome. And you know what, Jeff? You're going to have us on sometime soon, right? You know?
Hells yes. I love you guys.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Our next one is on Jin and Wishmaster with Peter Atkins, who wrote Wishmaster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
He was great.
I hope to hear some. So you already recorded it?
Yeah, I just recorded it.
Did you talk about Wonder Woman at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
But I wanted to keep it about movies that are good.
Damn, burn.
All right, gentlemen, I got to kick it, but we will talk. And audience at home, love you.
All right,
Thanks
bye,
for being
Jeff.
here.
All right, Mike, send us off.
Bye,
get
folks.
us your pitching, where we can find you.
So you can find me on Twitter at StrangeCinema65. And then my blog is thevideoaddict.blogspot.com.
All right.
Awesome.
Oh, wait. Mike, I did want to ask you. So we're entering into a new year, and you did have some great recommendations with Vampire's Kiss. So for me, the uninitiated, what would you recommend that I watch next coming up?
Are you in the mood for something like recent or like maybe like an older film or?
Whatever you recommend, because I watched Vampire's Kiss thinking it was going to be recent, and then I saw it, I was like, oh my God. But then I saw it and I was like, oh my God. So, whatever you recommend.
I mean, definitely, like, if you, like Rent a Pal is on Hulu. That's an excellent...
Rent a Pal.
Yeah. Okay. That, Save Yourselves was a really fun one. That's on Hulu also. So, yeah, those two. Also, I'm not sure it has a VOD scheduled yet, but Survival Skills is maybe one of my favorite movies from last year. What's you guys' favorite David Lynch movie?
I mean, it's without a doubt Blue Velvet. I think that's one of the greatest films ever made.
Yeah.
Blue Velvet it's amazing. I mean, Mulholland Drive's probably up there, Eraserhead's up there, but like to me, I just love everything about Blue Velvet. It's just 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably have to say Blue Velvet. Again, like Lost Highway is another one that I was like pretty fond of.
Yeah, I mean, Elephant Man's also really good. I think Elephant Man's amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while, but I'm like really wanting to get the Blu-ray of that.
Yeah, I remember. I remember because I used to watch IFC just to fall asleep when I was a kid, and. Yeah. I remember Elephant Man came on, and like I stayed up till like 2 a.m. watching it, just like completely taken back. Like that IFC channel really like. I mean, I used to watch it because it was uncensored, so you'd be like, "All right, they got some boobies here, boobies."
What was kind of awesome was like IFC back in the day. Like that's where I saw like Pi. The
Darren Aronofsky movie.
And I mean. I've kind of been like hooked on his stuff ever since. And I mean, like they had a lot of, like, I remember, like they had a lot of like LGBTQ stuff, like before I even like knew that was like a thing that,
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah. I remember there was a movie, what was it? With Hayden Christensen. Oh, sorry.
With Hayden Christensen?
Yeah.
Star Wars?
He was in other movies.
He did that movie Glass that was actually pretty decent. And he was a good actor in that.
He did the Jumper, right? Didn't he do Jumper or like Looper? Looper?
Shattered Glass.
Yes, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Hayden Christensen's not too bad. I think. Oh, what was the movie called though?
Tom, we have a question from the audience. They want to know. What do you love about Blue Velvet?
I love Kyle MacLachlan. I love Laura Dern. I love Isabella Rossellini. I love King Koopa. The music is amazing. It's weird, but it's like it's also
Yes.
accessible weird, right? In a way. Like
it's not too weird where you're gonna get tuned out, right? If you're not ready for it.
Also, I think it
Yeah.
has one of the greatest openings in movie history where they're going
What's the
through
opening?
it's like a perfect picturesque of like suburban life. Like there's like a fire truck driving down the street, people are outside mowing their lawns, and as it goes along, it just slowly zooms into the ear, like it just this
Oh yeah.
amputated ear in the ground,
yeah.
festering
Yeah.
in the dirt with all these ants, and it's like, yeah, on the surface everything's perfect and peachy, but like under the surface is like this, it's everything's fucked up and there's
Pretty
violence
grotesque
and
rottenness. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just it's very and that's what the whole theme of the movie is to an extent.
Have you guys seen Wild at Heart, which is David Lynch and Nicolas Cage?
I haven't. It's on my
No.
list. I need to
Oh
see
my
that
God.
movie. David
Yes.
Lynch, yeah.
That's my
Dirt.
recommendation. If you watch nothing else, Wild at Heart.
So, Mike, you know what? It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you
Hey, thanks
so much.
Yeah. Hey, thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming on. It's always just a pleasure to have you on and talk to you and just hear that deeper insight that you possess,
Yeah, thanks. And keep me updated on what you guys think of the recommends, and let me know if you want to do this again.
Yeah, of
for
course.
Sure. And we'll definitely.
we will definitely want to do this again, is no doubt.
Yeah, we love having
All right.
you on, Mike. So you're definitely be a regular if you're down.
Hey. Oh hell yeah! I always have a blast with you guys.
All right, everyone, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Steven, do you have any final words?
It's been a beautiful way to introduce the new year. So
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So thanks for coming along with us, everybody. This was Twin Shadows Podcast, episode 71, the New Year's episode. There should be hopefully a lot more coming from us, and maybe a little special something. I ordered some props today. We'll see. We'll see. All right, everyone. Peace out. Cut.